Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Season 1 review of X-Men 97. Before I get started with today's video, I'm just going to say that out loud, this freaking series is an absolute masterpiece. I hardly noticed the woke bullshit, I hardly noticed the political, liberal aspect of it, you hardly notice it. Anyway, with that being said, X-Men 97, I'm going to start right off the bat by saying X-Men 97 is easily one of the best things to happen to Marvel in recent years, especially when it comes to their animation stuff. For those who don't know who or what the hell X-Men 97 is, it is not only a revival, but a sequel and continuation of the legendary and iconic animated series from the 90s, X-Men the Animated Series, which aired in 1992. I think aired in 1992 and ended in 97, I could be wrong. But anyway, for many years it was the longest running Marvel animated series, and I happened to watch many episodes of the show growing up as a kid, and I loved the show as a kid. As a matter of fact, X-Men the Animated Series was my introduction to the X-Men. You know, what I remember loving about the series was the animation, the character design, the character models, the voice acting, the action, the characterization, the character development, the narrative, the storytelling, the overall really good writing. You can say the same thing about this series. I mean, this series has great voice acting. You have Cal Dodd reprising his role as Wolverine. You have George Boozer reprising his role as Beast from the X-Men the Animated Series. You even have the same voice actresses that voiced Storm and Rogue from X-Men the Animated Series reprising their roles in this series. You even have the great Jennifer Hale reprising her role as the voice of Jean Grey from the 2009 X-Men Animated Series, Wolverine and the X-Men. And one thing I will say about this series, that this series was not afraid to get dark at times. This series was not afraid to be a bit more gritty and mature at times, because when the X-Men Animated Series ended on Fox, they had to tone down the violence to a certain degree. They couldn't have Wolverine chopping up humans to pieces, you know what I'm saying? But in this series, we got to see Wolverine stab Magneto. Spoiler alert, there's a scene in the series where Wolverine able to stab Magneto, something we never really seen Wolverine do in the animated series. And, of course, Magneto proceeds to rip the adamantium right out of his body. Spoiler alert, just like he did in the comic books. Of course, Wolverine survives because of his ridiculous healing factor, but that's none of my business. But anyway, the main villain in the season 1 was Bastion. Now, Bastion is a human Sentinel hybrid being. My first exposure to Bastion was through the fighting game X-Men X Dimension. Bastion is basically a guy that wants to wipe the world of mutants. He thinks mutants are scum, he thinks mutants are abomination, aberrations, and stuff like that, freaks of nature, and he wants to wipe them away, wipe them out of existence. Even if the humans who are for mutants don't like it. Now, what I will say, there are tons of cameos in Season 1. You have cameos of Spider-Man, Captain America and Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Daredevil, Cloak and Dagger, Psylocke. You know, you have tons of freaking cameos in this series. And, you know, even though this series, from what I heard, has not done well in terms of viewership, the ratings are, its viewership is not great. The feedback the show has gotten has been nothing short of positive, you know. It has been immensely beloved by people. I mean, the people that were willing to watch the show have come out showing love and support for this series. I think it has like a near 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's like an over 90+% approval rating in terms of audience score. I mean, it is that damn good of a series, and I don't blame people for giving this series, because the writing is excellent, the characterization is excellent, the character development is excellent, animation, character design, character models are excellent, the voice acting is amazing, the action's top notch, the storytelling, the narrative, the writing is phenomenal. I consider X-Men 97 to be an absolute masterpiece of the series to me. In a lot of ways, I consider it to be nostalgic because I grew up watching the animated series from the 90s. You know, growing up as a kid, I remember going downstairs to the family room, turning on ABC Family, now known as Freeform, watching reruns of X-Men the Animated Series on ABC Family. And You know, it was one of my favorite shows growing up. I loved it. It was my exposure to the X-Men, and I'll never forget it. And to me, this show is nothing short of a masterpiece. It is absolutely nostalgic to me. Love the characters. Love how they introduce some new characters here and there, and I really like how this series is done. You hardly, as I said before, you hardly notice the woke, you hardly notice the politically liberal garbage. You hardly notice it. It's not like saturated. You hardly notice it. Anyways, I'm gonna give X-Men '97 on a scale from an A plus to a fuck you. I'm giving it an A plus. On a scale from 1 to 10, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. It is that freaking good. I may do an X-Men '97 discussion live stream next week. It all depends on my schedule, but I'll see y'all later. Peace out.